Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Joined with me, as always, is Joseph.
Hello.
And Jehu. Halloween Horror for Cowards, Part 2, Cabin in the Woods. Because we made a promise and we stuck to it.
I know it. I'm so impressed with us. We actually knew what we were doing in advance this time.
Did you guys actually watch it?
I did. And I will say, I feel like we're stretching the definition of horror with this movie.
Yeah.
Because I remember, because I am a wuss, I remember it being scarier. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, this is more comedy than horror.
Yeah, it's definitely a comedy.
Well, I mean, yeah, it has a lot in common with Scream, in that, it's like a sort of deconstruction of horror and there's a lot of comedy elements to it. But whereas Scream is genuinely scary in parts, this is never scary at all.
Yeah. Directed by Drew Goddard. Is that correct?
Correct.
Am I making that up?
This is only directing credit so far.
He wrote some Lost, I think. Is that how he became famous?
He did write some Lost. He wrote another movie that's kind of like this, Bad Times at the El Royale. He wrote the screenplay for The Martian and a few other things. I mean, he's with a relatively mixed bag, but Transformers to better than Transformers mostly.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Isn't he a disciple of Whedon, or am I wrong of that?
I mean, they made it together.
Yeah,
this is produced by Joss Whedon.
All right, on.
And, I mean, pretty okay cast. Like, a lot of these people, a lot of the main cast, besides Chris Hemsworth, I don't recognize. But all the side characters, I'm like, oh, this person's famous, and I like them.
Right.
I'm fairly certain that this movie was filmed before Thor.
It was.
Yeah.
A couple years.
But I think it was released after.
Yeah, it was very close.
It sat on it for a long time.
So, this is, I mean, relatively, comparatively, a pretty no-name cast, and then Chris Hemsworth, which in retrospect seems like a weird choice. But he wasn't Chris Hemsworth yet.
Right.
Yeah, and then, the other three people, I don't remember, but Jesse Williams is like the only one of the five that I actually recognize or know, besides Chris Hemsworth, and then Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford.
Right.
Who are the stars of the movie, in my opinion.
No doubt. Jesse Williams is very handsome.
He's a handsome guy.
I realized in rewatching this, I want that. I don't know how he looks right now, but I want the Jesse Williams that starred in this movie in 2011 to be in the Training Day reboot as Ethan Hawke's character. He's just got that like bright-eyed innocence, or he
has
can play that well.
Eyes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think this movie is pretty well acted, but like it doesn't have to be. Like, there's not like a special performance, but there's no performance where I'm like, oh, this is utter crap. But they all do their jobs.
I mean, honestly, I think part of the strength of the performance, I mean, if we can call it a performance and not just Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford having a good time, it's really them. Like, they're selling you the heart of the movie about like what it's really about. The other people are just confused and scared all the time.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched this movie since it came out, and I remember when it came out, I loved it. I think the big difference in watching it now is, the last time I watched it, I was around teenagers a lot more, so I think I enjoyed the whole movie more, whereas watching it this time, I had zero interest in the actual teenagers part, and I wish it would have just been a 2-hour movie about, like, almost like an Office style sort of movie about the behind the scenes, ritual sacrifice people, because that shit is easily the most fun part of the movie.
Kind of like the bit where they're taking bets on which monster they pick, but they just do that for all sorts of the different required beats for the horror story.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'd watch a series about this where they're preparing for it all year and stuff like that.
Man, the special
I think it's
effects,
a fun pitch.
I mean, it is a fun pitch. I can't imagine that would be practical. I mean, I don't know, these days, budget-wise, potentially.
But yeah, I still liked this movie a lot, but it wasn't as fresh as the first time I watched.
I would say I kind of felt the same way. Like, I'm still really positive on this movie. I still think it's better than Transformers. I really like it. I felt like maybe some of the gags and jokes don't work as well now. Hard to think, but 10 years later, I think you hit on that. Like, the most interesting part of the movie is what's going on behind the scenes. And it's so much more interesting that's really all I want to see, even though like the deconstruction and play on tropes and kind of Evil Dead remake is the heart of the movie, it's the part I enjoy the least.
I mean, that's fair. I think particularly in rewatching it a second go around, it feels like you're just waiting to get to that bit. But I mean, that's one of the interesting. So this is only the second time that I've watched it. Have you guys watched it any more than I have?
I've probably seen it 4 or 5 times.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Hurt?
I think I've watched it 2.5 times. I watched it when it initially came out. I slept through it another time when it first came out on cable, and then I watched this.
Because it was interesting to me to go back just for a second time, because the first time you watch it, you spend the first, 30 minutes kind of getting an idea of like what's really going on, and then you still spend the rest of it trying to figure out like, but why?
Right.
And so to like step back and see it again from like knowing all of the reasons why and all of the things that they have to do, I feel like the setups were more satisfying, and some of the office bits, which are kind of supposed to be vague, a little vague the first time you watch them as you're piecing it together, make like I appreciate them more rewatching it.
I think they set everything up really well.
Yeah, I think so
too. When you know the bit, you can see that it's not any way like forced. Like all the groundwork is laid really, really well for what eventually comes.
We're about to get into, I think, the spoilers bit. We didn't talk about what this movie is about for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's kind of like we said, it's kind of a deconstruction. It's like a Cabin in the Woods movie, very at least surface level, taking a lot of inspiration from Evil Dead or The Evil Dead, but there's more under the surface and more machinations that, if you haven't seen it, I think it's worth watching. Even if you don't
It's really hard to talk about what's special about this movie without spoiling.
But it's not real scary, and it's pretty funny, and it's 90 minutes, which is the perfect fucking length for a movie.
I was trying to remember, did they blow this stuff in any of the promotion? Like, what was really going on, or did the trailer?
They did.
I think the trailer for this movie just made it seem like it was a slasher movie in the woods, which I think is great.
I think it implies like a little bit like it's not just the slasher, but I don't think it implies all of the like the meta shit.
Right.
But yeah, do we want to get into the spoilers on this one? How do we like it on a rewatch? Better or worse than Transformers?
I'm still going better.
I'm definitely going better than Transformers. This would get better than Transformers to me just for the Mordecai on the speakerphone bit.
That's
that's great.
I mean, that shit's pretty great. But overall, yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I also say better than Transformers. I actually might have enjoyed it more the second time than the first time. But definitely what Christian said, a lot of the comedic bits that hit really hard, I think the first time I watched it, were so surprising, didn't hit as hard because I knew they were coming. But I don't know. I appreciated the craft more. I feel I appreciated all of the groundwork that was laid to get to the conclusion.
Yes. Spoilers.
I don't know where you guys wanted to start on this one.
I assumed, Joseph, that you, being the research person you are, had a extensive list of Easter eggs in this movie.
Man, there are quite a lot of Easter eggs in this movie. They're mostly specifically related to the different monsters you see towards the end of the movie. I wasn't sure if we wanted to work our way up to that point. One of the things that I appreciated the second time around, the guy who is the Mordecai, the Harbinger guy, is so fucking good.
He really is.
He's possibly just the best performance in this movie because that guy feels very, very lived in. Like that, you could meet that guy. I love the I fought in the war. And so, what war? You know damn well what war. Fuck, I love that line. It's so good.
Well, and also, once he's part of the setup and stuff, it's still he doesn't stop being that guy.
Right?
Which is pretty great. Like he doesn't turn into I'm just another one of the guys like Bradley Whitford and stuff. That part's pretty great.
What I wanted to ask about the Easter eggs, actually was not the ending. It's the cellar bit, because the first time I watched it, I've never really thought about, they get to choose. There's probably a ton of references in that bit that I don't pick up. I had not picked up on or looked for prior to this rewatch. So I was just wondering if you guys saw anything in that cellar that made you think, this would have been interesting or stood out to you.
I do remember when this came out, Like, that was one of the things everybody talked about. I was like, oh, that bit was like a reference to the thing. But right now I can't remember what any of them were.
As far as like the picking from the objects, the picking your own demise kind of thing, the only one that was like an explicit reference that I know of is the little puzzle ball.
Yeah, right. The Hellblazer.
Yeah.
Well, I just couldn't figure out the ballerina one. I didn't look it up, but I was hoping one of you would know.
I don't know it.
All right, well, keep going.
Yeah, well, one of the things I liked as far as the groundwork setting it up is as they're giving you these hints that something weird is going on just outside of your normal cabin in the woods thing. As soon as they go through the tunnel going into the cabin, they do the tracking shot. It pans from them in the RV going through the tunnel, and then it follows like the eagle or falcon or whatever flying over the lake and hitting the wall. And then they cut immediately from that to the back of the RV, which has the bike, which I thought was a nice setup for later.
Right.
Yeah, the CGI in that moment is trash, but
no, for sure. I mean,
there's a lot of trash.
I don't think
CGI.
this is a big budget movie in 2011, but it was also made in 2011.
Yeah, guys on the internet were doing better for free in 2011 than some moments in this film. But I do agree. I believe it was a pretty cheap movie to make.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think 2011, because I think this was released in 2011.
Yeah, you're right. It was made earlier than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this may have been made. It was one of those movies like they made in 2008 and sat on for 3 years or whatever. Like Red Dawn, which also starred Chris Hemsworth.
That's true. God, I can't believe that Josh Peck is still a thing. I fucking hate that guy.
I think having an original show on Hulu doesn't count as still being a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. He's on the internet somewhere. That's enough for me.
That's too far.
That is too far. Yeah, now that you mentioned her, you're right. The best thing in this movie is for sure the Richard Jenkins, Bradley Whitford in the control room kind of thing. And I could just watch them do that shit literally all day.
Right.
Like I don't need any of the other shit that's going on, because you're right. Once you get to the cabin, you're really kind of just biding your time until you get to like the next stage, and the best bit is them, doing the office pool, and there's like the intern, and they're arguing with the security guy, and I don't know, like fuck all the teenagers. They suck, and you know what's going to happen to them.
What I really like about them is, in my opinion, the best scene of the movie is when right before the blonde chick dies, and they're like, "Come on, let's see them boobies." And the guy's like, "Do we have to be?" The security guy's like, "Do we have to be this way?" And they said, "We're not the only ones watching." And they watch that whole scene, and you think like, certainly they're being disgusting, but they're checking off these boxes and they're balancing. Like, I think both of their performances are really good. They're balancing like the humor and then also kind of the emotional weight of, we're trying to protect the world from evil God thing. And it's just a really good moment to highlight the duality that's going on throughout the whole movie.
You still, speaking of those two guys and Easter eggs, one I've continually tried to figure out, and I can't. I know that them saying that there was a slip up in 96 has to be referencing something specific, like something in movie history, but I can't figure out what it was, unless maybe there was just no horror movies that year or something.
Yeah, what year did Scream come out?
It came out in 98, so...
That's the year they reference. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe it is, because I thought they said 96, but maybe you're right. But yeah, just because it seems very deliberate. But again, everything in this movie seems very deliberate. I mean, it's a really cool premise. It sort of makes you feel like less of a ghoul for rooting for everyone to die in slasher movie. Turns out you were doing the right thing all along.
I mean, we're the old gods.
Right.
It looks like maybe The Faculty was the movie they're referencing.
Weird.
Was Joss Whedon or something involved with that? It seems like he would be. It's a Robert Rodriguez film.
None of the archetypes die. All 5 are in the movie, but none of them die.
Huh.
Man, that was some real fucking fast research there.
Yeah. Thanks, Reddit.
But yeah, one of the other like rewatch bits that I enjoyed is the bit where Marty, the stoner guy, is supposed to die, and when they're draining his blood, there's like a rumble in the ground, and Bradley Whitford's like, "Oh, somebody's excited," but again, it's like foreshadowing to the fact that he's not actually dead, but I don't feel like you can pick that up until you've watched it at least once.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I just really, this sounds like a bad thing, and I don't intend it to be, but kind of like the Faculty reference, I feel like this movie is kind of such a love letter to horror that's a lot of it goes over my head because I don't like horror.
Totally. Yeah.
And so, there are bits that I really enjoy, and I even enjoy more so when they reference the horror things that I like. Like the first 30 minutes is play-by-play Evil Dead. I mean, finding a book in the basement, reading it, and then, zombies come at you and kill you. Like, those references I really enjoy because I get, but yet there's still probably, 60% of this movie that's probably an ode to something that I am not catching.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's okay as long as you still enjoy the movie. It's Easter eggs for the people who who catch the Easter eggs.
Oh, agreed. I'm just saying that maybe I don't have. I mean, I still really like it. Again,
are you saying that maybe we're not the people who should be talking about horror movies?
Correct. I'm saying maybe we're not the complete target audience. Not just our enjoyment is one thing, but maybe we're not the target audience.
Right.
The people who go to Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios. That's who this movie is for.
Have I ever told you about the time I went to Halloween Horror Nights?
Jehu, you've been to Halloween Horror Nights?
I went to Halloween Horror Nights one time. My best friend and his girlfriend took me with them one time. I'm still not entirely sure why they did that. But yeah, we were at Halloween Horror Nights, and it's a lot of people. You walk by a bush, and it's not a bush, it's actually a guy, and shit like that. But my main memory from it was there was a guy in like a wait staff outfit, and he was walking through with a fucking to-go box, and I was like, oh shit, what's going to be in the to-go box? That's going to be horrifying. But it was actually just a to-go box. And that was a big letdown for me.
I hear working that is like terrible for the employees, but
I bet it is. Because I mean, while I was there, I saw at least 10 military dudes who maybe had a few and were trying to fight chainsaw guys or Bush who's really a guys, shit like that. It seems like a bad scene.
Yeah, I will admit that the last time I went to like a haunted house type thing, I did punch somebody, and it was purely reflex. It was complete accident, and I realized I should not come to these things.
That's fucking great.
I can admit it. It's not good, but I did it.
I'm pretty excited about it because whenever I'm at one of those things, I don't want to be involved in it, but I want to see that happen. So I'm very sorry I wasn't there.
Yeah. But Cabin in the Woods.
Yep.
I would do a Cabin in the Woods, Halloween, whatever those things are at Universal Studios. But I mean, I like this movie. I think it's worth a rewatch. And there's a lot of good shit in it. I'm just saying there's probably even more shit than I know.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, it's the perfect length of movie. Especially once you've watched it again, you can't help but want to spend more time underground, and particularly like once all the shit is loose.
A lot of blood.
A lot of just ridiculous, gratuitous deaths. As far as like Easter eggs from that point on, I know there was supposed to be a tie-in for the movie for the game Left 4 Dead. If you guys have ever played that,
yeah,
great zombie shooter. So you can see some of like the special infected from that game in one of the glass things, but the tie-in never went through, so there was never any additional shit with it. Right. You can see the Reavers from Firefly are in one of the quick shots on like the bazillion TV screens. Also, one of my favorite callbacks that in the movie is on the TV screen, the intern trying to like signal the control room with the flashcards. You guys see that?
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
And the only other one that I know of is on the whiteboard when they're doing like the bets. One of the monsters that's listed is Kevin, and it's presumptively, I guess, supposed to be a reference to Sin City, Elijah Wood in Sin City.
Oh, right on.
Like mild-mannered glasses guy that's a stone-cold killer.
Right.
Interesting tidbit.
Yep. But the targets, I don't know what you want to call them, the sacrifices make their way kind of by accident down into the facility. It's this whole thing, we're satisfying the old god's wishes by enacting this horror formula of at least 5 sexy young people getting together and ignoring the warnings and suffering the consequences. But we end with the Fool and the Virgin are the final two that make it to the end. And we find out if the old gods are not satisfied, the world will be destroyed. And the person who the last line of defense trying to save the world is old Sigourney Weaver.
Perfect choice.
Now, well, see, that's the thing. Who do you think they wanted for this role?
Oh, I feel like it was Sigourney Weaver. Maybe you could make an argument for Jamie Lee Curtis.
I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis does make more sense.
That's kind of what I thought. I'm pretty sure she was like the first choice. I don't know what happened, but I'm not upset about Sigourney Weaver. I think, that's also a fun reveal.
Sigourney Weaver has fought so many evil things, and especially like in the era late 70s, early 80s, if there was a monster in a movie, Sigourney Weaver probably also in that movie. But she never really played that archetype role like Jamie Lee Curtis did.
Yeah.
Like she was the original or whatever.
Do you remember there was some other movie around this same time that basically had the exact same ending, that there was some sort of conspiracy, and at the end, the person who comes out and explains everything that's going on and is the head of it is Sigourney Weaver? Is that ringing a bell to anybody else?
It is, but I don't feel like it was right around this time. You're going to make me look this shit up.
She definitely has worn like a power suit dress and explained evil machinations before.
Right.
It's a weird niche.
She's good at it.
I don't know. I remember at the time, I just remember saying, oh, the ending to this was just like blah, blah, blah. But now I can no longer remember what blah, blah, blah was.
It did kind of remind me, like last week, Hurt, when you were talking about, the ending of a movie where you think it's a thing and then it's not really the thing. Like, but this really was the thing. Like, there really was like an evil god thing, and it would just destroy the earth if nothing happened. And that's exactly how this movie ends.
Right. And these are
honestly the best kind of
Earth.
ending to me for a horror movie. What were you saying, Hurt? Sorry.
I was like, these are the two most selfish teenagers on Earth.
For sure.
Yeah.
I know. It's like Sigourney Weaver's making a very rational point here.
Right, totally.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's hard to be on their side, but you also are like, they got a pretty good point.
Yeah. And like you said, I think they do a good job in the movie of like selling, like they seem to be kind of enjoying it, but you can also tell like it's a stressful job and they know it's important, but they're just kind of letting off steam by doing all these other things. Yeah, it's like a
coping mechanism.
Right, it's a coping mechanism kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, also, the Japan thing is obviously a Ring thing.
Right.
I forgot to
Ring and The Grudge.
Oh, yeah, or The Grudge. Or both. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Very similar.
It was definitely a really great reference to just Japanese horror of that era. Of like
For
the
sure.
late 90s through the oddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like this is a rare instance on IMDb where there was a corrective trivia fact. Right. Somebody wrote a trivia being like, body count for this movie 69, and then somebody else put one under as like trivia fact, at the end of this movie the world ends, so body count is 6,900,000 and some odd thousand. Which I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
that's
good
funny.
time.
Well, is there anything else we want to talk about for Cabin in the Woods?
No, people should watch it.
The only thing I was
Hurt.
wondering, did this kind of put an end to horror deconstruction? Because I can't remember another movie like that coming out since then. Because for a while, almost all, like after Scream, there was a while where every horror movie had to make some sort of tongue-in-cheek reference to horror convictions. I remember LL Cool J was like in 3 different horror movies where he makes a reference to the black guy always dying first and shit like that. But I think this kind of put an end to that. So if nothing else, it should get props for that.
Yeah, I was going to say Tucker and Dale versus Evil, but that came out a year before.
Right on.
So shit. I got nothing.
Yeah, I can't think of one. And honestly, like this probably does it better than whatever anyone else was planning on doing. So, because I would say this even does it to movies that hadn't even come out yet. Because when I watched that Merman bit, I thought of Tusk. And like that movie, I think wouldn't come out for like another 6 years. And I was like, oh, this is like a reference to a movie that hasn't even been concocted yet.
Right. It was concocted after Kevin Smith watched Cabin in the Woods.
Probably. He thought, I should make a whole movie about a person turning into that thing. Which, don't watch Tusk.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like this movie. It's on Hulu. Check it out. It's a good Halloween movie.
It is a good Halloween movie. Again, especially if, like us, you're a coward. It's not very scary.
It's not at all.
I remembered it being more scary than it actually was.
Yep.
Well, cool. Do we want to talk about... So we talked about doing an 80s slasher next week. Or an 80s style schlocky...
Yeah. What do you want? Hurt? We got any suggestions?
You know, I don't know. Like, I mean, I almost want to do one like less iconic, like, you know, like not Nightmare on Elm Street, but like if we were going to do one from that series, like Nightmare on Elm Street 4 or Friday the 13th Part 5, you know, something that's going to be real dumb and all.
I mean, Halloween 3 would be the one, I think. That's Season of the Witch, the one where they just completely fuck it. Like, Mike Myers is not even a part of it.
Right. Well, you know what we might need to do? We might need to research this because we really got to figure out which one we can watch for free.
I mean, that's a
Agreed.
good point. But
yeah. I like those suggestions, though. Later Nightmare on Elm Street series, definitely what'd you say, Friday the 13th 3?
Halloween
Seasons of the
3.
Witch or whatever? Halloween 3? Yeah, that one sounds tempting as well.
Also, I don't know
I've never watched it. I've heard it's just terrible.
As I'm looking up schlocky 80s movies, I've never seen Little Shop of Horrors. Is that a horror movie or is it a comedy?
Oh, it's definitely
it's a comedy, and it's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
All right. Well, you know, I will try and update the Facebook page as we research and make decisions about this. But some kind of 80s slasher, but with absolutely no context. Not a popular one because that would make too much sense. One that most people haven't watched. So join us for that. Well, cool. So that's it for Cabin in the Woods. What have you been watching this past week, guys?
I did something I haven't watched in a long time. I watched South Park. I watched the COVID special, and it was pretty good. You know, It was really appropriate. I think. I don't know if appropriate is the word, but those guys have the right perspective, I think, on all of this. And
I mean, that's the thing that amazes me about South Park. I feel like the crude humor disguises the fact that they almost always hit the nail right on the head with like the point that they're trying to make.
Yep, agreed. It's pretty gross, but at the same time, when you really like think about the beats they're hitting, you're like, no, 100%, you're dead on. And I think it's a pretty funny look at the way life's been for the last few months. I watched a documentary called Class Action Park on HBO Max.
Yes.
I know about this, yeah.
My wife has been, which is why we watched it.
What?
Crazy.
Yeah. So she was like, oh my gosh, Action Park. We should watch this. Like, I've been here. And yeah, man, it is... What makes it a really good documentary is, one, it's just really interesting. If you've ever been to Vortex Springs here, it's like that, but on steroids, which is just a bunch of, like, you know, rednecks that, I can build that. And they try, and then they gave no rules whatsoever. And you just, you know, these theme park rides literally killed people, and people got concussions, and you were allowed to drink and drive like 60-mile-an-hour go-karts. And I'm not going to lie to you, made it sound pretty fun. But what the documentary does a really good job of is saying this, like, specific theme park was kind of like a microcosm of the general attitude of the 1980s in general, which was like, you had the Wall Street boom. So there was this guy who got rich by trading penny stocks, who wanted to make the next Las Vegas in this small town in New Jersey. And so he built this amusement park, and he had no rules. And it just, you know, it's very similar to kind of that jacked up on coke mentality that you relate a lot to the 1980s. I really liked it. It was pretty good. Disney Plus has a new version of The Right Stuff, and if you know, you guys know me well, most people can probably figure, if you want to get Christian hooked on something, make it about the space race, as I am automatically in. And it's really good. I don't know if I would say I'd prefer it to the movie right now, but it is a good version of the book. Whereas
it's a series, right?
Yeah, so this is a series version, so it does take a little bit more time and detail, whereas the movies kind of rush through. But I really like it. It's a good cast, and I think it's worth a watch. I know people say Disney Plus doesn't have a lot of stuff, but I would recommend this.
Yeah, I love The Right Stuff, so I was waiting for somebody I know to tell me that this wasn't going to break my heart. So that's good news.
It's really different than the movie. Really different. I think you'd be surprised. But I like it. Their John Glenn, I think, is really, really good at being like likable, but also kind of slimy, which I think is a probably fair viewpoint of John Glenn. I started Haunting at Bly Manor. I did not finish it because, oddly enough, my wife got strangely into it. As much as we all say we hate horror, she really hates horror, but she's really into the show. I've watched the first 6 episodes. It's really good. It's really different than Haunting at Hill House, and it's not very scary, but I would really recommend people checking it out. And finally, the last thing I watched, Dragon Ball Super, is on Hulu now.
Oh, good.
And I had been against watching it, and I should still be against watching it. It's not very good.
Yes.
But I have watched the first 20 episodes. And
is the first 20 episodes make it past the Battle of the Gods movie?
God, man, why in the world did they show that movie and then do 16 episodes of a TV show? That's the exact same plot line.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm just now past it. It's not good. So after Dragon Ball Z ended, Dragon Ball GT came out. And Dragon Ball GT, no longer canon, but one of the big complaints that people made about Dragon Ball Z was it's too dark, it didn't have any of the fun or heart that Dragon Ball had. But Dragon Ball Z is when this show got immensely popular around the globe. And so Dragon Ball GT tries and fails to combine the fun and joy aspects of Dragon Ball with the dark world-ending awfulness of Dragon Ball Z. And the way they do that is just by making Goku a kid again, but then facing basically all the same villains he's already faced in Dragon Ball Z. And it doesn't work. And so Dragon Ball Super, I feel like they listened to the complaints, and now it's Akira Toriyama, trying to hear that complaint and make a better product. But I just don't know that fundamentally it works. Like, it's one of those things that, yes, fans are saying, but I don't know that fans are right about saying it. I'm not saying I want to watch another Dragon Ball Z, but Vegeta hanging out on a cruise ship making Beerus takoyaki is not enjoyable TV to me and doesn't make any sense for the character of Vegeta. And so, is it better than Dragon Ball GT? I don't know. Maybe. But it's not as good as Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and we probably should have just left it alone.
We really should have. I honestly think Dragon Ball Z went on just a little bit too long.
Yeah, definitely. I think you could see elements in the Majin Buu saga that carry over into Dragon Ball Super, like the zany craziness, weird solutions to problems. Literally, one of these episodes ends with them in the middle of a fight, and the character just falls asleep. And that's the end of it. That's how the fight ends.
Cool.
And it's just, I don't know. I don't even really like punch 'em up anime anymore, but I'm watching this because it's available and because I refuse to pay for it.
And because you've got a big nostalgic spot in your heart for Dragon Ball Z, whether it's actually good or not in retrospect.
If I can sit through rewatching all of Yu-Gi-Oh, I can make it through Dragon Ball Super.
That's almost certainly true.
That's all.
Okay, this week I consumed basically no media to mention that wasn't Van Halen related. After the death last week, I've just nonstop listened to Van Halen. Haven't really done anything but watch videos of Van Halen on YouTube. It's been a whole lot of that. So it's hard to think of something to talk about here specifically from that. But what I'm going to try to do is talk you into listening to Van Halen's first record. So...
I thought you were going to say Van Halen 3, and that was really going to be impressive.
No, God, I heard, like MTV played the video from Van Halen 3 like once back in the day, and I immediately said, yep, that is not for me, and haven't checked out any of it since. But Sirius XM has a Van Halen tribute channel currently, and they've been playing some Van Halen 3 on there, and it's like, maybe it gets a bad rap. It doesn't. That's the worst shit I've ever heard in my life. Everyone involved should be so fucking ashamed.
I think they are.
They should be. I'm sure Gary Sharon is still somewhere trying to be like, oh, man, guys, that wasn't too bad. But
That's probably true.
But yeah, the first Van Halen record, commonly referred to as Van Halen 1, is a weirder record than you would think it is. Where Van Halen is just such a sort of straight ahead, hard rock, good times band. If you haven't listened to that first record, it's laid out really strange. It opens with a horn that they make with a horn machine that they built out of horns taken out of various cars. Just a weird way to start a record. That's how Running with the Devil starts. Running with the Devil is a great track to open with. But then the second track is Eruption. Now, Eruption is one of those things that everybody knows about now, so it doesn't seem weird. It's basically like trying to explain to somebody why Pulp Fiction was weird in 1994. Everybody's seen it, knows it, and it's inspired so much that it doesn't seem weird. But it's a weird fucking second track to a record. It's just a minute and 45 seconds of a dude noodling on guitar as fast as he possibly can. The third track, You Really Got Me Going, is a cover, and not like an obscure cover. Like, it's a cover song that everybody knows. It's just a weird way to lay out a record. Third song, Ain't Talking About Love, is a song about, fucking without love. And, that's a common theme in the music that Van Halen inspired. The track after that, fifth, I guess, I'm the One, my favorite track on the record, also about that same theme. It has like a vague sort of thing that's sort of, it's supposed to be about fans paying love to the bands they like. But, they wrote this song while they were still playing in bars. Dave was not talking about T-shirt sales. He was talking about blowjobs. The next song, Jamie's Crying, takes the exact opposite viewpoint of that. It's from the viewpoint of the girl who would be fucked over by David Lee Roth. It's probably my second favorite song on the record. And I just think that's a real cool 1, 2, 3 that a lot of records don't do. The next one, Atomic Punk, is really fucking weird. They just, okay, let's do a song about a post-apocalyptic punk. Sure, why not? After that, Feel Your Love Tonight basically is where they invented the 80s. Every 80s hair metal band came from this song. It was specifically the third single on every hair metal record. The first single from every hair metal record was always a rocker to let you know they were dudes and they meant business. The second one was a power ballad that always let you know we're not just dudes who mean business. And the third one was always a good time party anthem that had a live video where at the end the singer would be carried away because he'd given away so much on the stage. After that, Little Dreamer's forgettable. It's probably my least favorite track on here. After that, Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man's also about Dave's dick. I know it's a cover, but whoever wrote it, I think definitely wrote it about Dave's dick. And the last track is On Fire, which is also a good track. But I really think if you think you know what Van Halen is, you should still try this record. And if you don't get it the first time, try it the second time with Speed. Maybe your mom has some diet pills around. That's how I discovered that. But, Van Halen 1. That's what I got.
Love it. Well, pretty standard week for me. Got my Ghibli film on Friday. I watched, we're not completely done with the quality. There is another good one in here. It's When Marnie Was There, which sounds like it would be sad, but it's kind of like almost like a Casper the Friendly Ghost kind of scenario, but in a more, I don't know, it's sadder girl and more fantastical adventure-y kind of way. But it's good. It's really, really beautifully animated. It's a more fun story than I thought it was going to be, because I thought it was going to be just real sad and about somebody dying or something. I don't know why. It just sounds like it would be. But there's definitely like a queer awakening aspect to the movie that's not explicitly addressed at any point and gets weirder the longer you get into it, but it's definitely there. Like it doesn't feel accidental, but I really recommend it. It's probably the favorite one that I've watched, in like 10 weeks. So I really, this is, besides the top notch, your Howls, your Spirited, your Mononoke, that kind of stuff. This is one of the top tier ones for me. I really enjoyed it. And then the other thing,
I'm going to be honest. I'm sad there's no shape-shifting balls in this one.
There's not.
You really caught my interest with that last week.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm pretty sure it's just the one. And then the other thing I watched this week for the bazillionth time, because it might be the thing that I watch the most these days, is Constantine, because it just got put back on HBO. And, for a movie that's got Keanu Reeves before his renaissance and Shia LaBeouf before he even started doing the weird artistic bullshit,
Right.
It seems weird that Oscar-nominated actress Rachel Weisz is, like, by far the worst fucking part of this movie. I understand. I respect that she wasn't given that much to work with, but man, she's rough. I watched, I think San Diego Comic-Con had a panel with the director and the producer and Keanu Reeves that had a lot of fun little bits. But one of the things that came out of that I had always kind of noticed in the way that you look at somebody down the street, it's like, have I seen them somewhere else before? There's one shot in this movie with Michelle Monaghan, and I wondered to myself, is that Michelle Monaghan, or is it just somebody that looks like Michelle Monaghan? Or is it before Michelle Monaghan was a thing? But it turns out she had a whole role in this movie that was entirely cut besides just one scene with one line.
Isn't it crazy when shit happens like that?
Yeah.
Just take her completely out.
The worst bit is apparently they wrote it in, brought her in, they shot all this stuff. They didn't like it. They brought her back, rewrote and reshot, and then still didn't like it and cut her all the way out of the movie. So sorry, Michelle Monaghan. You're good enough.
I hope she got paid.
Yeah, I'm sure she did. But Constantine, way fucking better than Transformers. If I had to fight and die on a hill for my underrated movie of all time, it's fucking Constantine, and I will die on that hill.
When this movie came out, this is one of the movies I was most wrong about, because I wouldn't even give it a chance because John Constantine wasn't English, but this is totally a good movie.
The first rated R movie I snuck into.
Is it?
I
skipped school for it. I was like a junior in high school. Skipped school to go watch Constantine. Smoked cigarettes in the back of the theater.
Yeah. This is an unrelated story that I'm probably not going to keep in, but I just remember working at the theater, but this particular time herding a bunch of preteen, boys that got dropped off by their mom that wanted to go see a rated R movie. They went to the box office, they didn't sell them the tickets, and so then you just saw them wandering. And so I was like, I got nothing else to do. I'll just follow these fucking kids around.
Man, Saturday nights were the worst.
Yeah.
I was we have been watching The Vow still, and there was some reference to the Stanford Prison Project in it and anybody who thinks that sort of thing is bullshit has never given a 17-year-old kid who's never had any power before in their life the ability to turn people away because they're underage. They get so drunk with that fucking power.
You're not wrong. Yeah. But anyway, so I follow these kids around finally to the back entrance where they're trying to find one of the doors. And as soon as I pop out, they turn around and they start slinking around the corner. And I just yell, "You could just buy a ticket." And as they're turning the corner, one of the kids yells, "You could just get a good haircut." And I think about that all the time.
He's not wrong. It's a pretty good burn.
Why isn't that kid on our podcast? He's genuinely hilarious.
I know it. Anyway, so that's
if you cut that out, I quit.
I don't remember how we got to this subject, but that's my story on that. And I think that's it for this week.
Right.
So next week, 80s slasher, to be determined. Follow our Facebook. I'll try and update it. We'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, thanks everybody for listening. Please rate, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. Word of mouth is really the only way that we can get any new listeners. And if you want to write in your thoughts on Cabin in the Woods or Easter eggs that we missed, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, and on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later.
Later.